Hi, it's me again. Yeah, we got a problem with the Metropolitan. When we pulled this car out of the barn, it had a few issues. And if you want to see what those were, you can go back and watch earlier videos. But one of the issues was the horn button with the blinker switch just spun on the steering wheel. And so that was really annoying when you're trying to turn the blinker on and hold the horn button and turn a corner and then turn it off. And so one day I decided, or the other day, I decided I'm just going to dig into it, and it can't be that bad, right? Should be an easy fix. 15, 30 minutes maybe, we'll have it wrapped up. Nah. No. Absolutely not. So I tore into it, got deeper and deeper, more and more frustrated. And so I guess kind of brings you up to speed. There's a piece in there, a metal tube that is part of the back of the horn piece that slips into the column. And that had broken apart. And so, you know, JB Weld, right? Sure, fix it right up. And it seemed like it was going to be fine. And then it wasn't. And of course I didn't do any, proper prep or anything. Just slathered it on there. And as I was trying to fit it back in there and get it all figured out, it just came back apart. Basically, short story. So, what I did is I just completely pulled the whole assembly out of the steering column. So, now you're up to speed. So let's head over here and I'll show you what I've got to work with right now. All right. Oh, the thing is this is a thing that happens with these cars apparently. Not a lot, but it does happen. And it's tough to figure out. A lot of people have the question, and like I did, how do I fix this? And I had no idea. And the service manual doesn't tell me, although it does show a fairly good detail of all the parts involved. But in the groups I'm in, some people were giving some incorrect answers on how to fix that. And so I thought I would just do a video on this now that I'm this deep into it, and do a video so I could share that with others and hopefully help them if they have the same issue. So let's see what we got. Okay, let's see if I can show you what's going on here. So this is all apart. The horn button I've taken off of here, and all the internal parts as far to this point. There's a little further we got to go, but this piece should be attached to that piece. And you can see my JB Weld job just came right off. And then this whole wiring harness slips down through the center of the steering column all the way down into the engine compartment, and then this comes up and then ties into the main wiring harness for blinkers and horn and whatnot. So what I'm going to try to do is, I'll bring you in a little closer when I do this, but what I got to do is pull the rest of this apart and take it off, I think. And then I'm going to clean this JB Weld off, and then I'm going to try to tack weld this thing back onto here. Then put it all back together, slip it in the steering column, and hopefully we're good with that. And I had considered taking a shortcut and tack welding this with the wiring harness in there, but I don't want to melt those wires, and that's probably exactly what I would do. So that's the plan. Let's see if I can get you in a little closer. We'll try to take the rest of this apart. And unfortunately, I didn't document taking the whole thing apart because I really didn't think it was going to take that long. I do have a short video that I did, but I will show you the whole process of putting it back together, and hopefully that makes sense for disassembly also. Okay, hopefully this is a good enough visual for you. I guess what I'm gonna do is I tried to tape this. I pulled a string. When I pulled this out, I pulled a string up the steering column so I can pull this all back in if I need to with that. But I'm gonna have to get this off of here because my whole tape job and everything won't fit in this tube. One thing, hopefully this all fits in there. Should. One thing I did, you can see this, I put number markers on the wires, and then I numbered the connector that they tie into also. That way I don't get confused on that. Okay, let's see if this will all go in here. Yeah, that's tight. I don't know. I don't have another option. Okay, there it is. It's out of the tube. Now I'll take this piece off. Stuff did not bond well at all, but there was oil and whatnot on here, I guess. Suppose, probably. Alright, that seems pretty good for that. Now, this piece, can you see this? This piece on the back side, there's a little notch right here. And there is a flat plate back there. If you pull that, there's a little tab on it. Pull the tab out of that notch. You can turn that thing, and then from the back side, you can uncover, what is there? Three screws. Once you get that thing in the right position, through the holes in this back plate. And then that will allow this to come off, if that makes sense. Oh, okay. So there's hardware inside here, which was a big part of my frustration because I pulled the piece off of the front of this that is supposed to come off, and then I couldn't get it back on because these little nuts that were down inside there had fallen inside and I couldn't get them to line up. So I had completely taken my process of pulling it apart was not correct at all. So there's little washers here. Yeah, should only be 2. Okay, awesome. That's that. Okay, now will this all come off? How? Oh, okay. So now this wiring harness I can pull out of here. What are the chances I get this all back together properly? Okay. There's that. And this, I suppose, wants to come off. Remember where that went? That goes... that's probably got to be in the right spot. Oh boy. How was that? Does this only go on a certain way? I think we'll be alright. Man, this all needs to be cleaned up anyway. Okay, now we are down to metal. And this does not come apart unless, I assume, you bend these tabs back, which are pretty sturdy. So now I think we can weld this. Now, I'm just going to get this all cleaned up, these parts. Get any oil and grease and grime off of them. And Then I'm going to try out, you know what I got to do? I got a new welder. And I haven't even set it up. So I'm going to have to go ahead and set that up. So I'll get this all cleaned up, welder set up, and then I'll be back. Okay, well, I've got this thing. I've got a really strong magnet on the bottom side holding this tube, little piece of tube on there. And I've got it as straight as I possibly can with these eyeballs. One thing to take note is this thing, I'll show you later. This thing has some divots in it that line up with the tube that goes down the steering shaft. And so if you want your blinkers and your horn button to be centered straight up in the steering wheel, you've got to get that stuff properly aligned. And that thing's probably adjustable to a point, I assume, but you know, you want your blinker switch right at the top, ideally. So just pay attention to that if you're doing this, if that makes sense. All right, here we go. First time using this welder. Am I doing anything? Okay, got something there. Is it pulling it? Seems to be sticking pretty good. Need to hit it over here again. I don't want to burn through this tube. It's thinner metal than this plate down here. The reason that I'm going this route instead of just buying a new one, this horn assembly is 200 and what was it, 65 bucks, $260 just for a horn. Not happening. I hope that's straight enough because I don't want to have to grind that thing back off and try again. I don't know, how far do I go? All right, here's what I got. It ain't pretty, of course, but it is solid. And that's gonna work just fine, I think, as long as it's straight enough. So, cool. And there's my new welder. Went ahead and decided to upgrade from the Harbor Freight and was looking at, these kept popping up on Facebook, Art Captain. And so I checked out some reviews and stuff, and reviews were outstanding. I was really stuck on when I was going to buy a new welder, I was going to get a Miller. Those have a reputation, and then I was looking at the reviews on these, and they were amazing. And then I was looking at reviews on the Millers, and guys were having boards in the Millers go blow up in 6 months, and then it's $600 for a replacement board, and the welder costs, I don't know, $1,200-$1,500 if you buy a Miller of this size, and this thing was $359. And man, it is a step up from that Harbor Freight 90 amp. This is the first time I welded with it, but just those little spot welds, I could tell a difference right away. Anyway, don't send me hate mail for buying a cheap welder, okay? All right, thanks. All right, let's get this thing back together, I guess. Let's see, kind of made a mess here on my massive work table. All right, so this wiring harness has got to go back through here. So is this what we want to do? Yeah, I think so. I took this thing apart wrong, but I want to put it back together in the right order. Okay. Now, okay, I'm gonna go grab the other parts. Hope I got them all. You remember how this goes together? No, you don't, because you didn't even see me take it apart. How does this? Oh man, be patient with me here. Cause that gets sandwiched there. That goes under. And where does that ground go? Right there. Okay, got that part. If I can get this back together without ripping anything apart. Man, this is too much. Or will it go? It will not go that way. And that's not right. That's the only way it'll go. Right there. Okay. That has to be correct. So then this part, so I don't even need this yet. I need this goes in here. Okay. Let's start with the stuff we know. And this, if you can see this piece goes on here. I want to make sure I clean all the contacts in here as we go. And there's a little spring in here. I don't know. I need to bring you in closer. This little brass piece goes right there. This goes here. And then you've got to get that spring compressed. Oh, hold on. I'm trying to put that on backwards. See what I mean? This goes like this. I didn't think it was that difficult last time. And pops in. And that little spring stays in there. And then that thing, when you turn this, that spring is supposed to pop and push some little doodads out and go right here. And I've got to look and see which way those go in, because they have a taper here. And I think I want to put a little grease or something on those. So that goes there. Now what we didn't do is get this in. This pops in, something like that. It's quite the contraption for the 60s. That is not a very clear picture. But yeah, it looks like, oh, looks like the taper goes to the outside. Or, I'm sorry, to the inside. So these go like this. And then I think that's it for that part. And then this goes on. Like so. Still not understanding. Something doesn't seem quite right. Shouldn't those be popping out? What I believe is supposed to happen is the spring right there is supposed to slip over. Yes, and pop those. 5. What is 5? Is there supposed to be another piece? Lever trip roller. Where is that? That doesn't exist. I just don't understand what causes that, because it's not clicking over. Well, I guess we'll do what we always do. We'll put it all together, take it apart, and do it again. Okay? Fine. Let's do it. And that's that. Then we've got one screw here, goes through, boom, and locks this together. And yep, easy money. And then this piece, I don't understand, because this one has a nut on the bottom of it and this one does not. Why in the world? Just doesn't make sense. I think they're both supposed to hold it. No, that doesn't make sense. Oh, this goes on next. Oh, okay. So one of them does. Has a spot to drop right in. I don't know if this is helping you guys at all. If you can even see. Okay, there's that. I still don't think that's going to work right. It just doesn't seem right. How am I going to... I needed to put this on when I put that on with that. This needs to go on here. Boom. And then this one goes here, I believe. So that goes in onto those two screws, and then this little brown wire lands over there, I believe, because that's just how it lines up. Then take it back off, because that's a trial run, and then put this piece in here, like so. Sorry, don't do that. Put this over this, then put this back in for the second time, and what should be your final. Okay. Little washer. Ridiculously small hardware. Okay. Then this can come up here, spin around, lock on there, and then that little tab goes over the other screw. Washer, nut, and then tighten that down, I think. Then we've got 3 springs that go on here, like so. Like that. It should kind of stick in there. So this has a little notch right here, and this has a little piece that drops into that notch, so just be aware of that. And this has the cutout, and that notch is straight at the bottom. So if we do this, and then this, like that, we got 3 screws back here that hold this on. Then after you do that, your horn is mostly assembled for the first time. And then we'll bring this back up. Should go on. Oh, don't even tell me. Where's that supposed to go? What? That makes no sense. That does not work. The screw is sticking way out, way too far. Will not allow this to set on here. But it was in there before, just like it is now. What am I missing? It won't go through. Is that supposed to lock into one of... No, it can't. There's nothing there. What am I missing? Do I need to cut that shorter? Because that will not work. This is wild. Figured it out. The problem with that longer screw. So that doesn't go in this piece like I've got it. This goes on top of here, and then it goes through here to hold the whole assembly together. That's why it's sticking out too far in the back. So go ahead and resolve that. So this goes on here, and then this screw goes through everything, and then it's not too long. Weird. Okay, put it all back together again, get to the last step, and figure out what's wrong then. Nice. This is how you get good at things, guys, right? Not sure if I want to be good at this. It'll be a quick, easy job. Let's try that last step one more time. Now, how do we drop these in? Completely upside down, that's how. Of course, they gotta be flathead screws too. Ridiculous. I don't even think I have a magnetic screwdriver, but what I do have is a magnet. Huh? Okay. That is not right. Why? Is there a piece missing? Maybe not. But why is it not? It's not popping the spring back to center. I think I got it, guys. I got two little pieces in there backwards. So let's go ahead and do this all again. And when we get there, I'll explain to you exactly what I did so you don't do it. Unless you want to. It's up to you. So on this doohickey, man, that spring. Hope I didn't ruin that spring. Unless, am I missing a piece? I believe what needs to happen. And which way? Okay, they show, okay, just like I got it. So I had this piece in here with the spring out like this, which kind of made sense, I guess, because that piece fits right in there. But it doesn't make sense because there's these notches on the other side, and it needs to be, hopefully that spring is still good enough. That needs to go in like that. And there's a deeper groove than the other one, and the deeper one looks like it goes side to side, and the shallower one up and down, let's say. So if we do that, slide these down, get this like that. That seems way more righter. I think I'm still missing a piece. Switch moving contact plate. That's gotta be right. I was literally going bananas trying to figure this thing out. I could not get it. It won't hold position. Once I got the spring and the other piece figured out that I had those backwards, it got better, but it wouldn't hold. Well, I just so happened to have a spare Metropolitan, and that blinker switch worked. This one did too before, it just wouldn't stay in place and turn the blinkers off when you turn back straight. Anyway, the spare Met worked perfectly. So I guess when I was taking this apart, I lost a piece. I absolutely cannot find it. Here's the spare one, and here's the little piece. Actually, is that one piece, or does that come out of there? Oh, that might be one piece. So, surely not. No, that pops out of there. Okay, so this little tiny piece is the missing piece. This, if you can see that, this little dude has a spring that goes in here, okay? And then it's got this little roller that drops into there, which makes perfect sense. And that's the piece that I'm missing in this one. So I may have to scour the shop / carport with a magnet to try to find that dude, because I don't know if you can buy these. But anyway, I'm going to steal this one temporarily. And put it in this Metropolitan and then deal with it later on the spare if we ever get to that one. All right. That is, man, I spent hours trying to figure that out. And I didn't even know what I was looking for is the issue, but I have scoured the car. I wonder, I didn't have a magnet in there. I'll have to see if I can track that thing down. Is it magnetic? Oh yeah. Okay. All right. Well, anyway, open this up one more time. Pop that dude in there and we should be set. You know what else? Yes, those are both facing inside. So I want to point this out because this can get confusing if you didn't pay attention when you pulled it apart. So these two little pieces slide up and down and are what trips the lever back to center when you straighten your wheel back out, I believe. But they are tapered. And the taper faces to the middle on both of them. Okay? All right. Cool. Okay, let's do this. Let's finish this up and then go to bed. I really hope this video makes sense to somebody because I feel like it's kind of chopped up and I don't know how good of a view you're really getting here. And there's not, man, I searched YouTube for info on this. I was not finding it. So it's hard to find technical info on YouTube for these cars. That's not normally a problem for classic cars. Usually there's a bunch of guys sharing a whole bunch of info, and not the case here. So that should be everything in there. Boom. Boom. Okay. Nice. I think we're getting there. But don't get cocky, because we still got to get this wiring harness all the way back down into the engine compartment. Now the fun part, getting all this wiring jammed down this tube. And I was watching one video trying to find something, but the guy had just removed the horn, the Trafficator, as it's called. And he had talked about pulling the wires out, which he was not doing in the video, but he said some guys will unsolder these tips and then resolder them back on. And I'm not down with that. I don't want to do that. No way. So, see what we can do. Oh yeah, that's gonna be tight. Good luck. They're all kind of staggered, but as you go, the bundle gets fatter and fatter. Okay, I have this thing back together with the shaft that goes in the steering column. Got the wire through it. Everything, just so you know, that can be done with the ferrules on the end of the wire. I've seen videos where guys talk about removing those, unsoldering them, and then redoing them after. But it can be done. It's not the easiest, but it can be done with them on. FYI. Okay, now we've got to get this thing back in the car. So, I think what I'm going to do... No, I can't do that. Yeah, I can. Yeah, I can. Pull this off and shove this back till it's just inside, and then I've got this string tied on. Now I'm going to send this thing downtown, and doing this by myself, so it's going to be a little tricky. Okay. Now, can I reach? Oh, yeah. Look at that. The advantages of working on a small car. Right there. Okay. That should be straight up and down. I wonder if the wire is hitting on the end. I'm not sure. That thing needs to go in a little further. Oh, there it goes. Nice. And I'll show you guys where this comes out at in here. Oh yeah. All right. Okay. I'll show you guys if I can where this is coming out at. Underneath the air cleaner, back in here, right there, is where the wire comes out. And there is a nut and a, what's it called? Ferrule? Is that also a ferrule? That tightens down on there. Yeah, so this dude and then the nut slips on there once you've got everything sorted to your liking. And then that thing stays in place. So one issue you may have is your horn button spinning on the steering wheel. And that may be, I'm not sure, maybe due to that nut being loose, too loose. So the first thing I would recommend is tightening that thing up. Maybe locking down the deal. And then if that doesn't work, then yours may be broken like mine was. All right, let's see if we can get the rest of this wire in here and get this horn button reinstalled. So when you guys go to remove this thing, all you got to do is loosen the three. There's 3 set screws in the column or in the steering wheel here. Lock this thing in. That's the proper way to remove this. Don't do like I did and get it part way out and then start pulling the whole thing apart from the front. Don't do it. Don't. I mean, you can, but not recommended. Is that all the way in? I think so. Is it? Yeah, that's it. That's all of it. Okay. And then that tube, the long tube that goes down the steering shaft, sticks out of the end. And that's what that nut and ferrule, whatever it's called, I don't know, holds that thing from spinning so that when you turn the wheel, this part stays. Right? Yeah. Or, no, I'm sorry. The horn will turn with the steering wheel, but the piece that kicks this back after a turn stays locked. Yeah, I think I got it right now. Okay, so that should line up with that set screw. Let's lock those down, I guess. One of my screws is not correct, but somebody Jimmy rigged it and got it to work. I should order the right one, I suppose. And this one's about broken off. That is nice. Before you go to turn the blinker on and this whole thing would just keep spinning either way. And then when you finish your turn, you would have to hold this and then put it back to neutral for a blinker. This is going to be nice. This is going to be luxury. Still kind of spins, but I think locking that down will fix that. But it's, yeah, that's amazing. So if I go here, I'm turning this way. Uh-oh. How come it doesn't kick back? Seriously? Oh, maybe that whole tube's still spinning. I gotta lock it down. Okay, let's do that. Let's see how we look. Where's the ferrule? How? There's no way. It was on the string. Is it split? I bet it is. Oh, no, it's in there. Okay, there's that. So that is 5/8. Okay, all right. Yeah, now that thing stays. Nice. But if your horn Trafficator is not straight up and down, you can adjust it just like that. Now just got to reroute the wiring back up through here. Well, See if it works. Yeah, buddy. Oh, yeah. Make the turn. Come back. It's off. Nice. Yep. Yep. Make a right-hand turn. Come back. Fantastic. Outstanding. Well, we did it. Teamwork. Pulled it off again. Another win. Nice. Another issue on this little car fixed. That's awesome. All right. Well, that's going to do it for this video. If you guys are on social media and you want to follow me there, I do post some exclusive stuff, some stuff before it shows up on YouTube. Just kind of give those people following there a little heads up. But you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and even TikTok under Newt's Nostalgia. And if you haven't subscribed and you're considering that, that would be awesome. That really helped me out. I've got a goal right now of hitting 1,000 subscribers, and I am 14 away. And you don't have to, but if you want to, that'd be cool. And YouTube will notify you when I post a new video, which is not very often. Once a week, once every 2 weeks, once every 4 months, something like that. But that's all. I'm not going to try to sell you nothing or anything like that. So anyway, thanks again, guys, for tuning in and watching, hanging out and following along and all that good stuff. So we'll see you in the next one.